Hello everyone, this is JG here, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Blizzard Audiobook series. If you'd like to follow along, there's a link to the fanfiction in the description. All that being said, let's get started. Act 9, Magnopus the Snow Leopard. As the sun began its never-ending journey across the skies once more, Karol awoke. Rex was tinkering with his project again, and Esther was deep in thought. Finally finished, Rex muttered as he put his gear away. Okay, Esther, Karol said as he gathered them all together. What's our game plan? We wait for an opportune time to sneak into the base, probably when some bounty hunters are entering, explained Esther. This whole place is filled with them, though, so when I get inside, I will disable security. How exactly will we get inside if you're disabling security after we go in? Rex asked. Just stay close to me, Esther replied. While I disable security, you will enter Magnopus' computer room. It should be easy to find. It's just the first doorway in the left hallway and filled with computers. And log into the biggest computer using a password I will tell you once you're there. Once you get into the computer, you will see a file called Malaxium. Open it, and we will know its current location. Once we know its location, I'll meet you in that same room. We will figure out what to do from there. Is there anything else we need to know? Karol asked. Esther remained silent, remembering the fox-like creature from her vision. She was not able to sleep that night, unable to stop thinking about her gaze. It made a great impact on her soul, and she made Esther want to follow her secret desire to abandon her fatal plan. She once again tried to banish the thought from her mind. This is who I am, a merciless killer. It's insane to think I should change my plans based on a ridiculous vision. I have to complete my mission. No, said Esther quietly. There was nothing. Great, Rex explained. Then let's get my stone back and save the world. Then Esther, with her mind carrying a heavy burden, led Karol and Rex down the rocky ledge to their base and their doom. Once they got off the ledge near the base, the team hid behind a rock and waited silently for the doors to be opened. After a few hours, two crocodiles began to enter the base. The moment Esther saw them, she grabbed Karol and Rex's arms and whispered, Stay close. Then all three of them turned invisible by all their atoms changing into a gas. It felt almost like how one feels entering a body of water, only if you're turning into it as you sank. The three used Esther's awesome power to sneak into the lobby of the base. The floor was made up of transparent white tiles, and the walls and ceiling were like clay. Remember what I told you, Esther whispered. First door on the left hallway. Got it, Karol replied softly. Take these, Esther instructed, handing both of them in your place. We can use these to communicate. Call me and I'll give you the password whenever you're ready. Then Esther let go of their arms, and they all returned to their solid forms. That was so... Rex began to say, but Karol and Esther shushed him. The three split up. Karol and Rex to the computer room, and Esther to security. But Esther was not really going to the security. On the contrary, she was going to alert Magnopus of their arrival. As she ran, her heart was pounding out of her chest with nervousness, giving her intense pain. But she did not care about that. She was too sorrowful. On the exterior, she remained calm and dedicated to her true mission. But in the interior, she wanted to throw herself in front of the fox creature and beg for forgiveness. But if she did that, Magnopus would kill her on the spot. Thankfully, she was very good at hiding her true feelings. She had quite a bit of practice at it ever since she began to work for the Snow Leopard. Esther then entered the great hall of Magnopus. It was shaped like an arena, the only light coming out of the door. The floor was dark gray tiles, with the walls being also gray, but they appeared black from how dark the room was. There was a second layer like the first that was higher, smaller, and overlooked the lower layer. On that layer was Magnopus' throne. Well, if it isn't the Mistress of the Wind, he boomed. To what do I owe the honor? They're here. I told them everything you wanted me to, Esther replied respectfully. Very good. They don't call you my top huntress for nothing, Magnopus boasted. I should be joining them soon, for they should be calling for the password any minute now. Excellent. I have a little surprise prepared for the fox on there, Magnopus chuckled wickedly. I'll bring all my hunters here. Do you remember the rest of the plan? Esther affirmed that she did. Good, Magnopus rumbled. Esther then turned to leave. Remember, mistress, Magnopus warned with his intimidating voice. No attachments. Esther flinched, but she managed to suppress any other outward expression. Understood. Once she turned to leave the room, tears pricked her eyes. Magnopus noticed. As soon as Esther got out of the room, Karol called her on the earpiece. Esther, we are in the computer room now. What's the password? The password is C$A1723. Esther answered. You got that? I got it, Karol said. Then he hung up. All right, Rex, Karol said as he looked at Rex, who was sitting in front of a large computer screen with a keyboard. The password is C$A1723. One sec, Rex said as he typed it in. Okay, done. That's strange. There are only 2 files in this computer. What? Just 2? That's odd. Isn't this the main computer here? Karol asked. Rex hovered his mouth over the file that said Malaxium. Rex said, internally excited to get a chance to get his stone back. Wait, what does that other file say? Karol asked curiously. Rex moved his mouse to the other file. It says Arctic Foxes. Click on it, Karol requested. Might have something to do with my role in the prophecy. I don't think it's a good idea to linger here too long, Rex said pensively. I'm the leader, aren't I? Karol said with a sudden aggression. Open the file. If you say so, Rex said, concerned for his new friend. Rex opened the file, showing a collection of videos. Rex clicked on the first one, titled Arctic_Fox01. An Arctic fox was sitting in a chair in a dark room with one singular, irritatingly bright light bulb. There were also two bounty hunters. One was holding the camera, and the other looked like an agile rat, skilled with a blade, who had a black vest with two katanas on his back. Do you know anything about a prophecy? The rat questioned. A prophecy? The fox answers. What prophecy? Anything to do with ice powers? The rat asked. Ice powers? The fox replied. That's strange. I've never heard of those. Would you know if I killed your family? The rat threatened. I don't have any family. The fox replied smugly. The infuriated rat, in a drink of eye, drew his sword and cut the fox's hand off. He screamed in agony. I will ask you again, the rat said. What do you know of the prophecy? I don't know, the fox said, barely able to breathe. This one seems useless, said a deep voice behind the camera. You're right, the rat affirmed. Then he cut the head off the fox and his soul fled to the abyss. The video cut off there. Rex was softly crying with shock and Karol stood completely still. Play the next video, he commanded. No, Rex responded firmly. We've already wasted enough time. We need to get going. You never should have seen that. I said, play the next video, Karol growled, his eyes flashing purple. No, Rex said firmly. We need to go. Then I'll do it myself. Karol pushed Rex out of the chair and clicked on the next video, titled Arctic_Fox02. The video was like the first, except that the fox was female. The torturers were the same. Who has the ice powers? The rat asked. What ice powers? The fox shouted in desperation. The rat, unsatisfied with her answer, decapitated her. Rex couldn't bear to look anymore, so he turned away until Karol was finished. Karol went to the next video. In this one, the victim was a wise old fox. Do you know of a fox with ice powers? The rat asked. I will never tell you anything, the fox replied. In response, the rat cut off some fingers. He groaned in agony. Now will you? The rat asked. Never, the fox replied. The rat turned to the cameraman and said, Burn him alive. The cameraman lit a match and as he was instructed. The old man groaned in agony as Karol backed out of the video and scrolled down the file, clicking on videos occasionally as he scrolled. As he watched each video, he got madder and madder. His eyes continued to flash purple. The file seemed endless. Most of the deaths were by decapitation, but some who seemed more knowledgeable, whoever they particularly disliked, were forced through greater torments. Karol was enraged with the cruelty of the executioners and overwhelmed by the sheer number of those awful videos. Then Karol scrolled down to the bottom and clicked on the last one. Arctic_Fox 4570. Life was taken by a sword wound through the heart. Only one left, the rat said. He's the one. Maybe we should have the boss send her after him, the cameraman suggested. Wait a minute, why did he make us record all these sessions anyway? The rat just chuckled locally as the video shut off. Karol, who was now standing, slammed both his hands on the desk in rage. He had been through a lot in this journey, but this finally broke him. He was fuming with rage, and his once bright blue compassionate eyes turned a dark, ferocious purple. His thoughts were full of sadness and anger. He wanted to kill every person who was involved with that atrocity, muttering murderous phrases under his breath. He was about to go out and accomplish that when Rex jumped in front of him. Karol, he shouted, what are you doing? Why are your eyes purple? I know you're mad, but please don't lose your self-control. We have a mission to accomplish and a world to save, remember? Karol remembered his year of training with Shadow. You were given a gift. Don't waste it like this. His eyes slowly returned to the normal blue. You're right, Karol said, taking a few breaths. What was I thinking? Come on, we have to find the location of the Malaxium. If you don't mind me asking, inquired Rex, how did your eyes turn purple? That's not normal for foxes of your sort, as far as I'm aware. Let's just say I made a deal with the devil, Karol explained. He gave me an evil power in exchange for taking someone's life. Thankfully, someone defeated me and saved me from that mess, because with those powers, I was weaker than I ever was. But I guess those powers were never fully removed from my soul, because those purple eyes began with those powers. So when I felt that anger, I somehow reawakened that power. Ah, I see, Rex said. Well, I'm glad that's not you anymore. Yeah, same here, Karol said, but yet again tasted that great danger of evil. It was that wonderful, corrupted pleasure that reawakened Karol's mad lust for power. Karol now had his self-control and knowledge to help him, but now that he tasted it, he would never forget his unholy sweetness ever again. Suddenly, a call came through the earpiece. Karol, Rex, I'm on my way to meet you. Have you guys found the location of the stone yet? Not yet. We got distracted, Rex said, quickly glancing at Karol as he went back to the computer and to the relaxing file. We're entering the file now. Esther, did you know about the slaughter of the Arctic foxes? Karol asked bluntly in a firm, serious voice.
What? I had no idea of that. I'm very sorry.
Esther, unlike many of her former responses, was truthful. She had no idea of that brutal slaughter, but now she knew what the cruel surprise that Magnopus prepared for Karol was. It added another burden to her conscience. Did she truly want to be part of a cruel organization that slaughtered innocent people? She knew the answer, but she still stubbornly resisted. Then she remembered the fox from her vision. Okay, Karol responded dully. Guys, I found it! Rex shouted. At that same moment, Esther arrived at the computer room. Where is it? Esther asked. It's around the neck of some leopard dude, Rex responded. This means we only have one option, Esther said. To kill Magnopus. The three of them stood silently for a moment. Kill Magnopus? Rex asked, terrified. Isn't he dangerous? Very, Esther replied. I suppose he'll finally be getting a bit of justice, Karol commented. Esther got a little nervous at the mention of the word justice. Couldn't we just take it while he is sleeping? Rex asked. No, Esther replied. If there is a loud alarm, if any noises are detected in Magnopus' bedroom past 4 in the morning, which is when he goes to sleep, if at all. Not even my invisibility would get us past that. She shuddered. Never would happen to a foolish soul who tried to get into Magnopus' room when he was asleep. Then what's the plan? Karol asked. Esther began. To start, Rex will enter the front of Magnopus' room by himself. Do you have any explosives? Rex grinned. Do I? You will use those, or whatever you can, to create a distraction for Magnopus, as Karol and I sneak up to him while invisible, with Karol holding an ice dagger. On my cue, Karol will jump up to his throne and stab him. Then we'll take his necklace with the keystone attached and skate out of there, picking up Rex and me. Once we make it out, we'll figure out what to do from there. Sounds good, Karol affirmed. Karol and I will enter from the side, while Rex will go in from the front. Understood? Esther asked. Both Karol and Rex nodded and set off with Esther to accomplish their quests. Rex made his way to the front entrance, his heart pounding heavily. What would he say to a big-time mob boss like Magnopus? As he arrived at the front door, he expected to see many bounty hunters there, but strangely, there was none at all. Weird, Rex thought. This guy's supposed to have every bounty hunter in the world working for him. Where are they? Then, Rex remembered that Esther disabled security, thanked her internally. But Rex had no time to dally, as he felt a little push into the room. Without further ado, he entered the doors to Magnopus' throne. When he entered the room, it felt like a million eyes were watching him, which was odd, because he could only see two sitting on the throne right in front of him. Who are you? Magnopus boomed. The whole room seemed to shake as he spoke. How did you get in here? My name is, Rex, Rex said, trying to keep his cool. I'm a red panda. Oh, the panda, Magnopus sighed. I heard you can invent, can ya? Rex said nothing. Well, I have an offer for you, Magnopus said. If you work for me. Work for you? Rex laughed. What? Are you crazy? Hear me out. If you work for me, I will tell you who shot your friend. Rex was flabbergasted. You know? Of course I do, Magnopus roared. And I can tell you, you accept my offer. Rex pretended to think this over for approximately half a second. Let's see. Oh yeah. Never! Rex shouted. Then he threw what looked to be a metal triangle chip on the floor that exploded. As Rex and Magnopus continued their duel of words, Karol snuck, invisible, behind Magnopus' throne. Karol's thoughts were focused almost entirely on revenge. He claimed he just wanted to save the world, but in reality, he just wanted Magnopus' head on a stick. The black ice was corrupting him once again, and once kind, compassionate, loving Karol was being lost. He remembered the black eye's powers once more and thought, I will torch him with everything he did to those foxes tenfold. And maybe, for justice's sake, I could perhaps use a bit of that to help. Then he remembered their possible connection with the beams and shut that thought down. Esther knew what she had to do. She was going to scream the second Turtle turned visible and leap to Magnopus, allowing him to grab Karol and throw him down to Rex. Magnopus hit a button on his chair. This was a thick steel wall to block the door. He knew Esther was near. It was almost time. Rex was trembling with fear as he tried in vain to distract Magnopus. Suddenly, Esther remembered Karol's training and how much fun they had together. She looked at him now, for when the gauntlets make two or more invisible together, they can see each other. She remembered when he gave her his pillow on that fateful night. Maybe she could turn back for Karol's sake? No, this was who she was. She had to complete her mission. Then Esther remembered her old friend Jolene and the memories they had together. Would she be happy with Esther's new life? That's not what these gloves were made for. No, this is who she was now. It's too late to turn back. Finally, Esther remembered the fox creature. The most beautiful person Esther had ever seen. Her stare of such kindness, such sorrow, such pity, such love. She wanted Esther to turn back more than anyone. Could she? No! Esther yelled internally. I'm the mistress of the wind, the world's greatest bounty hunter. I have no time for feelings and love. But in reality, she felt alone and unworthy. She just wanted to crawl into a ball again and weep. Trembling, she gave Karol the signal, and his eyes flashed purple. Then, like a panther, he leaped toward Magnopus with his ice dagger. It was made primarily of normal ice, but if you squinted, faint purple veins could be spotted. As Karol leaped toward the boss, Esther, with tears in her eyes, not knowing what to say, shouted, "Now!" And she slammed in her gauntlet, tearing both Karol and herself visible. With the speed of lightning, Magnopus grabbed Karol, turned him to the direction of Rex, and slammed with his fist, in which he was holding nothing else but the Malaxium. The force of this punch and the power of the stone threw Karol all the way above the door of the room, from whence he fell and crashed on the floor, shocked with the red electricity. Unnatural stench lifted him off the ground. He ran to join Rex, eyes glowing purple. Rex's heart broke when he saw what happened with Esther, and Karol's heart, already broken for the previous tragedy, was completely shattered. Esther stood still completely next to Magnopus, feeling a pain so cold, so empty, all she felt was a bitter nothingness. "So this is all I was to you?" Karol shouted, fuming with pure rage. "Just a means to an end? Well, I tell you, you are no better than the rest of these bounty hunters. If I get my hands on you, you're finished. You hear me? You're dead." "Wow," shouted Magnopus. "Not much better than me, are you, Fox?" "I am nothing like you, creep," Karol snarled. "I see," Magnopus said, amusement enlacing his every word. "Everyone, come on out and give the mistress a hand for catching the last Arctic fox." Suddenly, bounty hunters of all races and sizes came out of the shadows on the ground. There were lions, crocodiles, bears, tigers, lizards, apes, hippos, panthers, wolves, cheetahs, humans, and even a cockroach. There had to be at least 100 of them. By Magnopus' side, there came on a white tiger and the rat who slaughtered the Arctic foxes. "You!" Karol shouted when he saw the rat. "Why don't you decapitate your own head before I get my hands on you? Trust me, it'd save you a whole lot of pain." The rat turned towards Magnopus and said, "The little fox sure has a big mouth, doesn't he, boss?" "Indeed he does, Refoxel," the boxer cried, grinning. "We're sure to fix that." Esther deeply regretted her choice. She knew that Karol and Rex were fated to die here, for even if they could defeat that unstoppable army, the doors were sealed with no way to open them. Except, of course, with Magnopus' button. Esther remembered the fox from her vision, and she knew what she had to do. As Magnopus got ready to address the crowd, also snuck invisible to the button on the boss's chair. She pressed the gray button, and the metal blocking the grass door was released. Then she returned to her original position. Nobody seemed to notice except for Rex, who grinned subtly. "Hunters!" Magnopus roared. "You know the price I set on that fox? 1,000,000 rings!" The hunters roared with excitement. Karol created his ice daggers, and Rex brought his electro gun and bombs. "Whoever kills the fox first gets the money," Magnopus said. "Hey, maybe I'll throw something in for that annoying little panda, too." Then he laughed evilly. The rat then clicked a button on a remote he had, and the roof opened up, letting the midday sun in. Turns out this part of the building went behind the mountains to the open air. A pitch-black helicopter arrived to take Magnopus, the two high-ranking goons, and Esther away, descending right behind Magnopus' throne. The two goons and Esther, unwillingly, entered the helicopter. Then Magnopus, speaking to Rex and Karol, said, "Well, it was nice knowing you two. I bid you guys a very fond farewell." He calculated as he entered the helicopter, and the pirate flew them away. Karol tried to shoot ice at them, but he missed the first few times and was forced into battle.